What type of friend are you? For those of y'all that are on YouTube, you can see me sticking my finger in the right. What kind of friend are you? Are you the kind of friend that you would want to have? Welcome to the EQ Gangster podcast, where you will learn practical tools to grow your mental and emotional health and intelligence to be the best version of yourself, both at work and at home. It is real, raw, and transformational. The journey of emotional growth isn't easy, but it's worth it. I believe in you. EQ Gangsters, what's up? What's going on? Okay, this episode is going to be about friends. There's an old school there's an old school rap song that I grew up to when I was a kid by drumroll Houdini. I know you guys aren't ready for that. Houdini, and the song is called Friends. It's so funny that just hit me. I am grateful for homes and homies and trees. You guys know I say trees a lot. I love trees, and I love pine trees, and I love the way pine trees smell. And I'm grateful for smiles and teeth and eyes and noses and hair. Shout out to all the bald brothers out there. And I'm grateful for physical, mental, emotional, social, spiritual health, and the opportunity to have gaps in all those areas and still be able to work on them. Great verse, Philippians 1:6, being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. Philippians 1:6. That we are works in progress, and that God will always be working on us as long as we're open and willing for him and teachable for him to work on us. He is not going to force his way into our life and beat us over the head with growth or change. Okay, so homies. So some perspective here. Let me set the stage a little bit. The 4 personalities: dominant, influencer, steady, conscientious. Dominant, influencer, steady, conscientious. So the perspective that I'm going to be sharing, I'm going to try to hit all of them, but understand the context of who is speaking to you is an influencer dominant. Probably 70-30 influencer to dominant. At work, it may shift a little bit, 60-40. I increase a little bit in the dominant side just because that's the role that I have at work. And based on my role and position and stuff, it's probably more 60-40. So so many questions and conversations about this topic, friends. So let's do this. So as a dominant, how do dominants define friendship? Dominant personalities. How do influencer personalities define friendship or friend? How does a steady personality define a friend? How does a conscientious person define a friend? And what type of friend do you want? So maybe some of you all have no idea what your personality is, which is also fine. What type of friend do you want? Have you ever taken the time to write down or define what a friend, like dream scenario? And maybe you don't have, I know some folks that literally don't have a friend, like legit, don't know what a friend is, don't know what a friend looks like, have never had a friend potentially. So, which is, as an influencer personality, that is brutal. As a relationship person, that is brutal. There are some dominant personalities that the question is like, well, what need would it fill? What result would a friend get me that I can't get on my own? Kind of thing, right? So again, using some D terms. How would a friend, again speaking from a D perspective, how would a friend help me accomplish my goals better or more effectively or more efficiently? As an I, as an influencer personality, it's all about the relationship. Steady, it's all about the relationship as well. As a C, as a conscientious, safety and trust are huge to the conscientious personality. Safety and trust are huge. And again, of the 4 personalities, the conscientious personality takes the longest to build trust and develop trust. So, and in order to do that, to build trust with a conscientious, they need a lot of consistency and time and reps. So that's huge. So what type of friend, or let's look at it this way. Here's another question to ask. Who have you been the closest to in your life? Who have you been and how do you even define close? Is it physically close? Is it emotionally close? Is it intellectually close? Is it spiritually close? Who have you felt the closest to? And again, that's an I question, right? That's an influencer, relationship-oriented person question. What does social support look like to you? What does social support feel like to you? Okay, this is another one. What type of friend are you? For those of y'all that are on YouTube, you can see me sticking my finger on the, right? What kind of friend are you? Are you the kind of friend that you would want to have? How emotionally stable are you? How emotionally needy are you? If you were to list, here's a great exercise. If you were to list all of your friends right now on a sheet of paper, and you can even break it down 2 different ways: work friends and personal friends. Are you self and socially aware enough to understand what you get from each of those relationships? What do you get from each of those relationships? Next one, what do you give to each of those relationships? For me, a true friendship is not just giving, and it sure as heck is not just taking. It's got to be both. For me, a great friendship is a great business deal. Now, this may sound kind of more my dominant personality. A great business deal is one where we both win. The other party wins and I win. That's a great business deal. Well, it's the same thing for a best friend or a close friend. It is I want to make sure that I am giving as much as I'm taking. And here's something that's been revealed to me recently. I suck at receiving. Like no joke, I suck at receiving. And if I talk about it too much, evidently I don't have to talk about it too much. I will get emotional because of how bad I am at receiving. And I do know why. I was going to say I didn't know why. I do know why. I'm not good at receiving. I have not been good at receiving. And I am sick and tired of not being good at receiving because of where that comes from. There's a certain spot It's my self-hatred and self-sabotage and unworthiness and undeservingness is why I have not liked receiving in the past. And so, which affects relationships, obviously, because I love giving in a relationship. I love giving. And again, receiving is not easy for me. And so, and I have another interesting thing, and I know I'm a little bit all over the place for all my C's out there that happen to be listening to me. They're like, oh my gosh, Noble, can't you keep a freaking thought on a consistent path? No, if you know me, that is very hard. One thought leads to another thought, which leads to another thought. And so, unfortunately, it's not linear or process-like for all my C's. So I know this is probably rough for all my C's out there. I have different tiers of friends. I have tier 1 friends and I have tier 2 friends. And then really, tier 3 is just like acquaintances, that kind of thing. I have 4 dudes, 3.5 dudes that are tier 1 ride or die. Like they know literally everything about me and still love me and they don't judge me. Tier 2, I would say it's the same. They're ride or die. I could call them up right now and they take a bullet for me, I take a bullet for them. We just don't talk as much. So the frequency of communication is different with my tier 2 than tier 1. Tier 1 homies, we talk 1 to 3 times a week. Tier 2 homies, we talk once or twice a year to maybe quarterly. So for me, there's the frequency thing, which also, well, yeah, so I would say it's frequency in terms of what separates my tier 1 from my tier 2. So how would you do that? How would you differentiate or organize your circle, your social circle? What type of, this is fire. To become the best version of who God's called you to become, what does your social circle need to look like? What should your social circle look like for you to become the best version of who God's called you to be? And what impact do you have on other people's lives? Do you bring the best out of other people? Do you bring the worst out of other people? What do you bring out of the people in your life? How can you become somebody that brings the best out of the people around you? So, some thoughts about friends and friendship. And this will probably be a series of, I will do probably a whole bunch of these out because this is such a powerful topic, especially nowadays. I remember I was walking on the San Antonio Riverwalk a couple years ago. I was doing a Facebook Live while I was walking down some super cool Riverwalk, super cool. Parts of it seemed a little sketch, but overall it's pretty bad at the bone. And I was walking and there was these 2 young college kids sitting on there's this little grassy knoll area as you're walking along the San Antonio Riverwalk, and 2 little cute, they're little lovebirds, 19 years old, 20 years old. And I again, I'm on Facebook Live, and I stopped him. I said, hey, I said, this is totally random, totally weird, this old guy talking right now. I said, can I ask you a question? I don't even remember the topic of my Facebook Live I was doing. EQ, something EQ related, emotional intelligence related. And I said, it was something like, what's something you wish you knew more about? Because I asked them, hey, what do you guys do? We're in college. What year? Oh, I think we're sophomores. And so I said, hey, what's something you wish you knew more about? Both of them said, how to find a friend. Both of them. 2 19-year-olds. Your boyfriend, girlfriend. I thought, wow, that's fascinating. Right? We're in social media, the world of social media, post-COVID, social distancing, all that stuff. And a lot of people, because we're so attached to our devices, a lot of folks have no idea how to connect, how to be a friend. I literally had a conversation recently with somebody. Man, I have no idea how to be a friend. I don't know what it looks like. I have no idea. So anyway, lots of thoughts on friendship and friends. How would having a close, deep friendship, how would that affect you? How would that impact you? What might you be missing out on by not having someone like that in your life? What might you be missing out on by not being that for somebody else? It requires a whole nother level of vulnerability, exposure, openness, connection, depth, all kinds of stuff, y'all. So, which I almost think it takes a certain degree of emotional health and emotional intelligence to have and or be a close friend. That's a whole other thought. So you guys rock. Super grateful for you. You are worth becoming who God's called you to become, even if and when it means being uncomfortable and going through some discomfort in order to become the best version of who God's called you to become. I appreciate you. I believe you. You matter. You are worth becoming the best version of who God's called you to become.